Today our journey begins in the Northern Territory, where we explore an ancient landscape in search of prehistoric fish. Then we head south and investigate a fisheries project that offers anglers year-round trout fishing options with plenty of fish to be caught.
Oh, that's the one, Mark. There he is.
Yes!
Oh, yep, on.
Nailed one.
Oh, it's a redfin.
Is that a fish?
Yep, I'm on.
Yes.
Is it?
Yeah, that's it.
No, it's gone.
Hey?
It's gone.
You sure?
Yep.
This show is proudly brought to you by Mercury Marine, BCF, ARB, and Spotter's Sunglasses. Today I've travelled to the Northern Territory in search of one of our oldest fishes. The journey has taken me to Corroboree Billabong, an hour-and-a-half drive east of Darwin. This billabong is the quintessential backwater, picturesque and brimming with bird life, reptiles and fishes. It is well known for catches of barramundi, but this isn't what I'm here chasing today. This morning we're fishing in the northern tropical fresh waters in one of the most ancient landscapes in the world. And we're going to be surrounded by reptiles which date back to the dinosaur period, and likewise we're going to be targeting one of our oldest fishes, which has a family tree dating back hundreds of millions of years. And to help us learn a little bit about the behaviours of this fish, we're joined by one of the local anglers that knows a little bit about this place. So stick around because these fish are definitely very cool. Corroboree Billabong is typical of the dry season backwaters left after the wet season flooding subsides. These places form nurseries for species like barramundi to grow and freshwater fish to survive year-round. One of these fishes we're in search of today, and it's known as the Saratoga. It's one of our oldest fish and well and truly looks the part. Saratoga are a carnivorous fish, but they spend as much time eating stuff which falls into the water, by that I mean terrestrial animals, so your insects and your frogs, as they do eating your bait fish and crustaceans. And one of the really cool ways to catch them is on the surface, and today we're going to be imitating their food supply. And we're going to start with the good old-fashioned frog. So I've got a fairly small sized frog. We're going to rig it up in a weedless fashion, chuck it right into that deep structure where they live and wiggle it out. And we see a Saratoga eat one of these. It's going to be pretty damn exciting. Fishing frog soft plastics across the surface at this time of the day always comes with a sense of anticipation. Oh, what have I caught?
Oh.
I caught a tarpon.
That's the smallest tarpon I've ever seen.
It's the smallest tarpon I think I've ever seen as well. I think we know when some things come up. It's amazing that a little tarpon like that will attack a frog. But there's one thing that these guys have in common with the Saratoga, and that is the style of mouth. It's very much an upturned mouth, and that tells you a whole lot about how they feed. They used to like being able to come up in the early days and suck up insects, so it shows you they're equipped to eat terrestrials as much as stuff that swims down underneath the surface. So there you go, he's a very small tarpon. He's going to go back. We're doing something right. Fishing the morning sessions on Corroboree are always breathtakingly stunning, but the cooler waters fail to produce fish for us. We're going to have to push further up the system, hoping that with more sunlight, the fish start to play the game. Boating this waterway is always an adventure. There are animals active throughout, watching your every move. And with so much shoreline structure, it's hard to decide where to start fishing.
Yep, I'm on.
That's what we want, I think. I think it's what we want, Leela.
Oh no, it's stuck.
That's all right. Go in and get it. Oh, it's a barra. It's a barramundi.
All right.
We just had one follow, and then Leela banged one, and it's all right, it's happening. Oh, yep,
Got him.
Oh, it's right in there. I think I might have dropped him. I'd say he's gone. Hang on. Yeah, he might still be on there.
Can't see anything.
Yep.
They are here and they're biting now.
They're starting to bite. As it's warming up, they're starting to bite. That's a good sign. Corroboree Billabong is a backwater of the Mary system. It joins during flood time, but it's landlocked during the dry season. It's a very healthy waterway with plenty of fish and a deadly surprise around every corner. You have to be constantly croc-wise in these parts. Yep.
Get him out. Whoa.
It's one there. That's a good toga.
Oh yeah.
It's a good toga.
Oh.
Yes!
I just pushed the net into its face.
It's all right. And it stuck its face in.
Oh,
what
nearly
a
ruined that.
toga.
Wow.
Oh, this is what we came to catch, Leela. Northern Saratoga. So pretty much endemic to this part of the world, around the Gulf, a bit across Queensland and into Papua New Guinea. It's got a closely related Aussie cousin that's in the southern parts of Queensland. And they're just a striking looking fish, and they still look prehistoric. I think that's what I just love about them. These fish, they separated from a close cousin in South America called the Arapaima, which gets massive around 220 million years ago.
It's insane.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Well, Leela watches out for crocs. Let's go get a bit of a closer look at the head of this fish, because it's been really specifically developed over, as you can hear, many millions of years of evolution, but such a big upturned mouth, and they are just so good at eating terrestrial foods. In fact, it's one of its South American cousins is known to leap 2 meters up into the air to grab insects, and because of that they've earned the nickname of water monkeys. So they are very well developed for eating so much of our land foods, as well as everything which swims underneath the water. And this one has actually had a recent meal of a catfish. I'm about to show you in a minute. No, I'm not, because he's eaten it. There was a catfish tail sticking out there when we caught this one, Leela, and that is because he's just been munching on lunch before he came along and got a little bit of plastic that he thought was something else. What a cool looking fish, the Northern Saratoga. And commonly around that 50 to 60 centimetre size. They reach sexual maturity around that 48 to 50 centimetre size, and then you can catch them up over a metre, nearly up to 17 kilograms. They do grow truly large, and this one, I'm going to jump back in there, he's going to go charge into the lilies, and hopefully get a lot bigger than this.
With one fish on board and the water's starting to warm, we start feeling more positive. And I just love the chance to learn more about how these ancient relics live and hunt.
Got him. There's a barra.
Nice.
There's that barramundi. Straight out of there. Come into the boat, little fella. Yes. The afternoon bite is getting more active by the minute, Leela. And I've got to say, your spot picking's been right on the money today. I don't know if my conversion rate's been on the money, but Leela has certainly been finding the fish. And look at that, they're just sitting in these tiny little areas. You know, there's a bit of shelter, a bit of shade. They're ambush predators, the Saratoga and the barramundi. And they're just sitting there waiting for something to come their way. And we are putting this perfect little bait fish imitation, a little bit of a blade attached to it, wiggly little tail. And it's just too much for predators like this to resist, aren't they? Just the coolest little fish, even at that size. Oh, is that a fish?
Yep, I'm on.
Yes. It's still kicking. Still
Is it?
kicking. Yeah, I can see it.
Nah, it's gone.
Hey?
It's gone.
You sure?
Yep.
Man, they're so hard to catch.
Well, he didn't hit it hard. He just kind of like,
I know.
and then you kind of slowly put the weight on, but I just never felt hooked.
Very frustrating fish to try and get from there into the boat. Extremely hard mouthed. Not that easy to hook. We'll just keep trying. Yes, we'll try and keep our composure.
I reckon he'll hit that again.
Yeah, he's got him.
Yep, got him.
Got him.
Nice.
Got him. It's a barramundi. And it came in very quickly. Oh, check out that. Obviously juvenile barramundi hanging around the same spot that we're targeting our Saratoga. And these billabongs is a place where many of them grow to adulthood after spawning in the salt, and they run up into the fresh and they get trapped in these landlocked systems. And they live very much the same way the Saratoga do, eating insects and the like, whatever bait fish, crustaceans they can find, until they get to that around 50 to 60 centimetre size. They turn into adults, males to start with, and in the next big flood they'll all head down river to join their mates spawning. I reckon we can do better though. There'll be bigger barramundi around here.
I reckon there might be some.
That's all right, he's a starter. We'll take that. Because there's a bucket load of really big crocs around here. We're not going to get down to water level to let these fish go, so we're going to spear them from up here to go on and turn to adults.
We are now adopting a run and gun approach, continually staying on the move if we don't get bites, and trying our best to keep looking for warm pockets of lily-choked backwater. It's an intriguing method of fishing, using weedless rigged soft plastics and slowly skipping them over the top of lily pads, knowing that as the lure walks over a small pocket of water around those lilies, it can suddenly be eaten at any moment.
What we're doing is strategically working chunks of lily pads at the moment and just working our way slowly up and down the billabong, looking for areas where there's a bit of water movement into a corner or a back bay, and then we're getting right up the backs. And what you'll find is where the water out in the middle is quite stirred up, a little bit dirty, up in here, these lily pads and the weeds act as a big filter, and it's quite clean. And it's very often where we're finding these Saratoga sitting there waiting for a bit of food to come their way.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's a bit. Drop, Leela. I'm an idiot because I pulled it out right away from a fish. Well done, Nigel.
We are getting these fish to bite, but frustratingly missing so many of them.
That's 2 bites out here. There's more under there. They can feel that, man. They're coming up under those lily pads.
Yep.
That last one dead set followed it like that. And the moment it got into a little patch, he ate it. Oh, here.
Oh, yep.
Got him. Oh, I lost him. Like, they don't know if that's a fish or a frog, you know. It's like it's just making a noise. Mm-hmm. And they're suddenly going, you just fall into a space in your mind. They're following it underneath those lily pads. That's pretty cool. To watch these fish hunting like that, that's awesome. Oh, there, got him. It's a toga. Here he comes.
Here he comes. Oh, you'll be right with that, mate.
Yes. Toga!
Yes!
God, look at them.
And I bet he hit so hard for his size.
We actually saw that fish. It was a big roll right up in there, and Leela's gone, I'll get the electric and hoof it on in there. And she has, gave me one shot at it. And he just went, bonk. Actually had my line over about 3 lilies. Just had to wind and get it out. But
awesome.
We won one. Check out this for a neatly designed fish. It's even got barbell style feelers there just to further feel for food that comes close to see whether he wants to eat it or not. And getting really scientific now, but the arowana, which the northern Saratoga belong to the family of, is often called a facultative air breather. And what it means is they can actually sip air in and stick it right into their swim bladder. And in that swim bladder, they've almost got capillaries like our lungs, so they can use oxygen that way. So it shows you they're not too far removed from species like the lungfish and the like. A very, very cool fish along the evolutionary tree.
Corroboree Billabong offers a really special experience when it comes to getting close to some of our most ancient surviving species. It's difficult to comprehend that these animals nearby have been happily surviving and evolving for hundreds of millions of years.
This is one of the reasons you just love coming to Corroboree Billabong, to get up close and personal to prehistoric animals like that. He's a big critter.
Wow.
The weather is warming, and with it, the activity levels of the fish. Every new pocket of water seems to hold a fish or two, and we're getting plenty of bites. Getting these very hard-mouthed fish to stay hooked is a whole new ball game though. The bites are often unexpected and subtle, so it's easy to be taken by surprise, and striking softly nearly always means a lost fish. It's taking us a while to get our timing right.
Yeah, he's got him.
Yep, got him. Nice.
Got him. I'm just going straight into the net. Yes! That's how you do it. And they've fallen off and get him in there fast.
Pulling him in there faster. Wow.
Really gorgeous scale pattern on these fish. It's quite specific to these northern Saratogas as well, just that, almost that pink banding on the scales, and they've got such big scales. It's a bit of conjecture over where the name barramundi came from, because it comes from a dialect from the traditional owners down around Rockhampton, and it means, in translation, big scaled river fish, and it can either mean the Saratoga or the barramundi. We're not really sure, but our barramundi perch is the one who's coined that commonly referred to term of barramundi, whereas these guys could be the real reason that they got that. Look at that cool looking fish. You just see by looking down on these fish how prominent the eyes are on top, and you just imagine under all this cover that you'll find in a place like Corroboree Billabong, these guys will be sitting down underneath those lilies with those eyes looking up, just waiting for any sign of food to come past. And it's been an intriguing way to catch them, just winding these little surface soft plastics, totally weedless so they won't snag across the lily pads. We've actually had these fish coming up underneath the lily pads and bashing the lily pads at time. They're so good at picking up vibrations, and how good is that fish at just seeing my hand move there.
The afternoon is getting on now, and our hunt for Saratoga continues in earnest, as I cannot get enough of watching these subtle hunters working amongst thick structure.
Oh, yep.
Got him. Yes.
It's a barramundi.
Yay!
And it felt like a barramundi bite. Got a clunk, It's amazing fishing for these two species today, just how differently that they bite. Like the togas just come up and sip this little, what they think's either a frog or a small fish, and they sip it in, and the barramundi come up and just go conk.
I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah, that's right, which is good because the hook set on these is a lot easier than the good old Saratoga.
So much. Yep. Oh, good fish, good
no,
fish.
It's gone. Yeah, that was a barra. It's a good one too, yeah, I reckon. Just boofed me and said sayonara. It just mangled. That was a good fish.
That was a good fish. Yeah, just took line instantly.
That was a barra.
Each spot seems to produce a bite or two before the activity slows. And we now work fast against a quickly fading afternoon light.
Yep.
Yes, go. It's a toga, it's a toga, it's a toga. Poike it straight in, 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 straight in. You did it. You did it. Oh, Leila. It had to happen sooner or later. You've been the unluckiest angler I think I've ever fished with today. You've had thousands of bites and none of them connected. And on top of it, you've chosen all the spots we fished. And Leela's actually been driving that electric through all this gnarly stuff. So I've had the luxury of just sitting up there casting at all the good spots. So you deserve this well and truly. And I got to say, it has been awesome coming to one of your special places where you fish your tournaments, one of your special little critters, and learning so much about them. Aren't they absolutely awesome?
And so hard to catch.
Oh yes.
What makes the Saratoga so hard to catch is the tough nature of their mouths. It's features like this that sometimes earn them the name bony tongue.
Yes!
One for the road, one for the road.
Well done.
We're about to head and we thought, you know what, Corroboree Billabong, sunset, what a beautiful time of the day. Let's have a few more casts, and it was worth it. We have one more for the road.
There are a few more beautiful places to fish around Australia than Corroboree Billabong. As a stunning territory sunset lights this place up, I still can't help but marvel at the animals that call it home. Today has been a lot like taking a step back in time and learning about prehistoric animals, how they live, survive and hunt. And to get so very close to them is one of the more special experiences you'll ever have.
In Western Victoria, there's a trophy trout fishery that actually flows through the suburbs. The town is Warrnambool, the home of over 35,000 people. And you know, I think a majority of them don't even know just how good the trout fishing is in their own backyard. The Merri River flows virtually right through the centre of town, and the Hopkins River lies just on the outskirts, and both are fully stocked with brown trout by the Victorian fisheries. Better still, they are the only trout rivers in Victoria that are now open all year round, even in winter when our trout rivers are closed to all fishing. And the best way to catch these trout is simply to lure casts from shore. And what sort of lures should you use? Well, I reckon it's always best to go to your local tackle store and see what's on their shelves. A quick visit to the local tackle store tells me that the switched-on locals know all about this great trout fishery, and their shelves are just loaded with all the trout lures you'll need. Now, the reason these trout grow so large is because they're in the river feeding on minnows. So what I'm looking for is some minnow lures, and I can see them over there. Just what I was looking for.
Do you need a hand at all?
Mate, I'm good. I think that's going to be perfect. Trout in the Merri.
Yeah, that or even, say,
Smaller one. The minnows or galaxids in these rivers make for an ideal food source for these trout. And your choice of lure just needs to imitate the size and the colour of those little morsels. Thank you very much. Good advice. So where are the best fishing spots in these two rivers? Well, we're lucky because I've got Mark Gurkovich and his son Luke fishing with me today. Mark lives in Warrnambool. He fishes the rivers every single week and he's going to show us every one of his best spots on both these rivers. So where's the best places to fish these rivers? Well, let's go and find Mark and Luke and go and catch some of these local trout. So this is Russell Creek, Mark?
Yeah, Russell's Creek just runs into the Merri here, just down from the weir.
Always good for a cast.
Yeah, there's not a lot of great structure in this area, so things like creek mouths, there's a few good snags along here that sometimes hold fish. Yep, on, fish on.
Oh, good on you, Mark.
Yeah, it's just right their feet there, just off that sort of log.
The Russell's Creek producers.
Yeah, oh yeah, little trout. Got the net there, Bill?
Yeah, mate.
Yep, here he comes.
Oh, he's not all that big, but
It's a start.
actually I don't think we'll need a net here. We just might. Well, I'd say, Mark, he's not the biggest brown trout in the Merri that you've caught, but beautiful fish. And this guy's a stocky.
Yep.
So the fishery for the lower and the upper Merri is all dependent on fishery stocking because they can't breed.
Yep, he's probably been in the river about 12 months or so,
Yeah,
so
okay.
give him another
Cool.
12 months and he'll be a quality fish.
Well, I'll let you get that lure out.
No worries.
And that's the sort of lure you use here typically?
Yep, just something that replicates the local minnow population.
Yep.
Sort of natural type colours while the water's like
Okay.
this, and you can use sort of lairier colours once it gets a bit dirtier.
We'll get that hook out and let him go.
Yep.
So you can find his big brother.
Yeah, off you go. And he's away. Hope we'll see him in 12 months' time when he's a good fish.
This is a playground.
Oh yeah, playground.
Good spot.
Oh yeah,
Looks like they've cleared it.
yeah, it's good. You can you're able to walk along it more than what you used
So
to.
this is, yeah, they've opened it right up. And it looks like they built some fish homes here too. A little bit of structure in the water.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Hit it just at the end.
Oh, it looks like a redfin.
Oh yeah. Yeah. A redfin. Good size.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Obviously you're finding there's a lot of redfin in the river as well.
Yeah. There's every now and then you pull a couple of redfin while you're fishing for trout,
Yeah?
especially
Okay.
this time of year.
Well, he's not a bad fish.
Yeah.
Great eating fish, of course. Can I just have a look at him? And he's hit that trout lure. Redfin are an introduced species that thrive in the lower and upper Merri rivers. They're striking to look at. They're a good sport fish, and indeed they actually grow to over 2 kilos in these rivers. And to boot, they're great eating. But I'm here to catch a trout. Now, one thing about the Merri River, and the lower Merri River in particular, is the size and the condition of the brown trout. The weir at Bromfield Street delineates the upper Merri from the lower Merri, and the size and condition of the brown trout in the lower Merri below the weir is very, very impressive. Go one, Luke. Good one?
Yeah.
Good on you, my man. Oh, we got him. How's that, guys? Good on you, Luke.
Yeah, nice fish, Luke. Well done, mate.
Yeah,
Good
thanks.
Merri River brown.
Moving from spot to spot on the rivers is pretty easy and just a matter of jumping in the car and driving there. Fish through that area, and if you get no bites, simply jump in the car again and move to the next section. So you obviously had a big flood, Mark.
Yeah.
Because normally this is where the main river flows into what's a man-made canal.
Yes, yeah.
And that's one of the advantages of being able to fish in winter in the Merri and indeed the Hopkins, that you can fish these high water levels. As you can see, it's flooded right throughout the paddocks here. You've had a big rain in probably about 10 days ago, I'd say. And rivers come down here, hit the man-made canal, acting like a bit of a dam, banked up, flooded out. Good flow of water here.
Yeah, we got some nice fish just as the water was coming up, but the last couple of weeks it's been very high. You know, the fish probably get out on those floodplains, fatten up, and just as it's dropping now, hopefully they're moving back into the river proper. And
Yeah, cool.
we got a couple of nice fish here just as it was coming up. That's probably been a bit high the last couple of weeks. You know, the fish will be up on those flooded flats feeding, and then as the water starts to drop, they'll, you know, come back and hold hold in these positions.
Usually at these spots, Mark, you get a fish on the first cast, but I'd say with this dirty water, you're going to have to search a little bit more.
Yeah, sometimes you've just got to get the angle right, but sometimes it takes a few times to get the lure just in the right spot. Xavier got a good one here the other day. He'd been fishing for quite some time before it grabbed it. But yeah, otherwise we just keep moving on to the next spot until we come across one.
So Mark, this is what the locals call the Knackery Bridge, or if you're visiting Crow's Bridge.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of the places have little local names, and if you tell someone who's not from here, they're thinking about, I didn't find that on the map. So yeah, there's the old Knackery, you can see the steam coming from there, but yeah, if you look at the sign, it's called Crow's Bridge.
And you've got about 5 k's of canal to fish here?
We'll head down to what we call the golf course run and then on the Stanley Street Bridge.
Cool, mate. Now, the reason Fisheries decided to open this fishery all year round was out of a study that determined that there was, in fact, very little natural recruitment of trout or breeding in the system. I reckon we could catch a fish here.
Yeah, maybe. This is sort of usually an earlier season spot. Good spot to come in the boat and fish through this area.
That's exactly right.
But yeah, you never know.
So I reckon Cassidy's Bridge would be one of the more accessible and popular spots on the river.
It is,
and a lot of bank to fish here. You like it more early season?
Yeah, when the water's clearer, it tends to be better here. There's no real runs to attract them.
You can always fish around bridges and structure in confidence, I reckon, Mark. Always fish hanging around these bridges.
Yeah, it's a really good spot along here when the water's clearer. We like to fish here in the boat. All along here's a really good stretch when the water's clearer. Usually not so much when it's dirty. There's not as much structure at this bridge as, say, some of those other bridges we were hitting before. The water's sort of actually quite deep. But as you said, you never know. You just keep moving along, putting a few casts in, and hopefully eventually we'll come across a fish.
Great thing about Caramit Road is in the last 10 years, the authorities have actually done a lot of clearing on the northern side of the river here. So where I'm standing here now was probably the only access you could get land-based to this great river. But now it's all been stabilised. Give it another 3 to 5 years, all your gum trees, all your natural trees will be grown, there'll be some nice shade. It's going to be an even better place to catch a trout. Floating minnows that dive up to about 1 metre in depth maximum are ideal. Simply cast them slightly upstream and across the river and work them back at a medium constant retrieve. On some days the fishing can be a little bit hit and miss, so you need to set yourself to just keep casting until you finally get that bite. With the fishing tough in some of the lower and more dirty sections, we decide to try some spots upriver to see what the cleaner sections may hold. This is a nice little spot, Luke.
Yeah.
Upper Merai.
Yeah.
Ooh. Using the soft plastic.
Yeah, just because it's where it runs and then it drops into a deeper hole.
So
quite often
minnow will be all right in there?
Yeah, and quite often when it's lower like this is where they'll be sitting.
So what sort of leader do you use?
I like to use about 8 pound.
Whew. And that's simply because
Well,
every now and again you get a small fish, but most of the time,
yeah, there's
every now
quite
and
a
again
few,
you get a whopper.
Yeah, there's quite a few big fish up here, and plus there's lots of rocks and logs that they'll hit you on and their teeth. Oh, yep, on.
You nailed one.
Oh,
You nailed one.
I was hanging down the run, hasn't jumped yet, so it's a redfin.
So you get redfin in the upper Merai as well.
Yeah,
There you go, Luke. Good stuff.
yeah.
Good population of redfin in the river as well, apart from trout. These are obviously naturally breeding, and They're good to eat, but
Yeah.
you told me you let all your fish go,
Yeah.
so there you go, mate. You just let him go.
Right, see ya.
Even though the river's really narrow here, because there's colour in it, doesn't really matter. The fish aren't going to see you, so you can just get right up and just work it across the current.
Yeah, all I'm doing now, the guys in front of me have been fishing the hard bodies, so I'm just coming in behind using a plastic, which will just be a bit more of a finesse approach, just down a little bit deeper if the fish are holding a little bit deeper.
The best time to fish in the winter is on those nice high pressure days after the first serious rains have hit the area. That extra water flow gets the trout on the move and feeding. So Mark, this is where the Mount Emu Creek joins the Hopkins.
Yeah, it is. A place they call the Junction. There's this
Junction
road in, the junction of the two waterways.
Looks good too. Nice rock bar up there.
Yeah, and it does, and with the dirty water at the moment,
Yeah.
you can still catch fish even with the sun high in the,
Easy,
high in
and
the sky.
nice easy access too.
Yeah.
High sun like this is not normally good, but because high water levels due to the rain, winter and all that.
Yeah, it's good. You can fish all day
You're
rather than
pretty
just have
active.
to concentrate in the low light periods. Yeah, keeping your lure nice and tight to the bank's often the best way, rather than casting out right in the middle when it's dirty like this. Fish will often be patrolling the edges looking for something to eat. Work your lure right to the edge of the bank. But the colour's perfect. It looks really good actually. Like you can get really chocolatey. But there's a few centimetres of visibility. So it's just a matter of us finding one and putting it across its nose. It'll be game on.
So Mark, where's the best spot to falls? Obviously the pool below the falls.
Yeah, the plunge pool below the falls is one of the
And then around where
hot
else?
spots, and then the next couple of runs on your way down are your main spots, just close to the falls. You can keep walking. There's a creek that runs in a bit further along that you can fish, but it's just how far you want to walk.
Areas such as this, with deeper sections, rocks, and plenty of oxygen in the water, just have to hold trout ready to feed. Often it's just a case of getting a lure in front of them.
Oh, legs on. Oh, good fish. Hello, matey. Hey.
Stay still. Awesome.
Again, the quality of these trout in these rivers is impressive, largely due to the excellent glaxid food source that they live on. Overall, expect trout that are sizable and in great condition. This is easy to get to, Mark.
It is easy access, easy fishing. Oh, there we go.
That's the one, Mark.
Yeah, you got a bit of weight about him, this one.
Good on ya. There he is. Nice brownie. That's what you're after. Hey, look, can you grab that net for me, mate, and take that? Thanks. Nice fish, Mark. Thanks, mate. Oh, yeah, that's what we're after.
Still didn't want to get his head up. Here he comes, here he comes.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Got
There
him,
we go.
baby. Look at that. Hey? Yes, Mark. Let's have a look at this guy. That is a lovely Merri River brown trout. It's a stock fish, and it's beautiful condition and absolutely lovely colour. Fighting fit, and that's probably because it's full of galaxids and right in the middle of winter. Just beautiful.
He nailed that just off that weed bed there.
Yeah.
Probably thought it was a galaxid drifting down.
Well, mate, you live 5 minutes to the river, and I bet you never get sick and tired of catching these guys.
It's great to be able to come down. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't, but yeah, it's a great fishery.
Well, there you go. Well, I'd say thank you, Victorian Fisheries, for all the stocking you do, and thank you for opening up the river in winter and giving us yet another new fishery here in Victoria. Mark.
Thanks, Bill.
There's the guy. I'll let you let him go.
No worries.
That's a great way to finish the day. The decision by Fisheries Victoria to open these two rivers to trout fishing all year round has been an instant success. And with trout like these, caught days after I left, you can see just how successful this stock trout fishery can be. The Merri and Hopkins are both quality fisheries with easy access, and there's no doubt that I'll be back. Now, the brown trout fishery in the Lower Merri is actually a put and take fishery. They're stocked, and lots of anglers like to keep one to cook. And one of the best ways to do it is simply to smoke it. You've got a beautiful trout like this, all you've got to do is knock your fillets off, and it's pretty simple to do. And there you have it, a beautiful fillet of Merri brown trout. That is actually lovely. And all I need to do now is put a liberal quantity of this dry brining mixture of salt and brown sugar onto your fillet. Let that cure for about 3 hours in a cold place. Back in my little esky here, and we'll come back and smoke it. So all you've got to do now, once you've dry brined it, shake off all the excess, and we're just going to leave it for about 30 minutes to air dry in the smoker. And then I'm going to come back and smoke it. So now I'm ready to smoke my fillet, and that's just perfect. After 30 minutes of air drying, that's just how I want it. So we're just going to remove the fillet out of there and get some hickory sawdust at the bottom of the smoker. That's about enough. And once that's done, the rest is simple. Just pop your fillet back in the tray, pop the lid on. We're going to light these burners, and go. And you need now to smoke that for about 30 to 40 minutes. So while Mark's coming up, I'll just have a look at this, and that is absolutely perfect, Mark.
Yeah, it looks great, Bill.
And a great way to finish the day, smoked trout. Cheers, mate. Good day.
Good fishing.
For details on all the equipment we used in today's show, head to our website afn.com.au, follow the links to the fishing show, and we'll tell you exactly what we used. And to stay up to date with our latest adventures, head to our Facebook page, AFN Fishing and Outdoors, and you'll find out exactly where we are and when.
It's Bill Klassen here from The Fishing Show, and if you like this instructional video and want to learn more, it's simple. Go to fishingshowtv.com.au and see a whole host of additional videos.